50 years ago, marriage was the standard. By your late 20s, you were expected to be a husband, a father, a provider. Today, marriage rates for young men have collapsed to historic lows. Fewer than 3 out of 10 men under 30 are married. Some call this a crisis, others call it liberation. But either way, the truth is undeniable. Men in America are walking away from marriage in massive numbers. So what happened? Why is the institution that once defined adulthood now being abandoned? And what does it mean for the future of men, women, and families? Let's go deeper. 1. The economic weight no one talks about. Marriage used to make sense. Economically, it was practical. A man's income could support a family, and a woman's role at home created stability. Together, the household thrived. But fast forward to today, and the equation is broken. Wages for men have stagnated since the 1970s. According to Pew Research and the Economic Policy Institute, when you adjust for inflation, the average hourly wage for American workers has barely moved in 50 years. In 1973, the average U.S. hourly wage was about $26.10. By 2023, it was only $27.45. That's a raise of just $1.35 an hour in half a century, not even close to keeping up with the cost of living. Meanwhile, the price of everything essential has exploded. Housing costs have more than doubled. Healthcare costs have tripled. College tuition has skyrocketed by more than 1,000%. And student debt chains young men before they even start their adult lives. Now put that against the cost of marriage. The average wedding in America? $30,000. The average divorce? Far more, with years of alimony, child support, and legal bills attached. And here's the cruel irony. Men aren't earning less because they're lazy. They're earning less because the system changed. Since the 1970s, worker productivity has shot up by over 70%. But wages? Only about 15%. That means men are producing more than ever before, but taking home barely more than their fathers did half a century ago. Only now, they face housing twice as expensive, healthcare 3 times as costly, and education bills their fathers never had to worry about. In 1970, one man's income could support a wife, kids, and a mortgage. Today, one man's income barely supports himself. And that's the cold reality men are waking up to. When marriage no longer makes financial sense, fewer men are willing to sign up for it. 2. Divorce. The elephant in the room. Ask any group of men why they avoid marriage, and one word will surface: divorce. Here's the raw truth. Divorce isn't rare. About 40% of marriages in America end this way. But what men fear most isn't the breakup, it's the consequences. According to the American Sociological Association, nearly 70% of divorces are filed by women, and that number rises to 90% among college-educated women. Once you're in court, the odds tilt even further. The U.S. Census shows mothers win custody almost 80% of the time, while fathers are left fighting for weekends and paying hundreds, sometimes thousands, in child support and alimony every month. The financial hit can last for decades. And it's not just money. Divorced men are nearly 9 times more likely to take their own lives than divorced women. That's the real cost men see when they think about marriage, and it's why so many are saying, it's not worth the gamble. 3. Cultural shifts from duty to choice. Marriage once carried honor. It was a duty. A man wasn't considered complete until he built a household. But culture has shifted. Sense is available without marriage. Companionship is available through dating apps. Warranty are no longer economically dependent on men. For men, marriage no longer provides what it once did. It doesn't guarantee loyalty. It doesn't guarantee family. It doesn't guarantee respect. So many men are choosing freedom instead. 4. The rise of hypergamy in the digital age. Here's where it gets psychological. Women are wired to seek the best mate they can find. This is hypergamy. In the past, their options were limited to the men in their community. Now, through social media and dating apps, a woman in a small town can DM a millionaire across the country. Her attention isn't local, it's global. This has created a brutal imbalance. The Alabama small group of high-status men get the majority of attention. The average men are left invisible. Men are realizing that marriage in this landscape feels less like partnership and more like competition, with odds that make many simply walk away. The death of traditional roles. Men were once valued as providers and protectors, women as nurturers and homemakers. Now both partners are expected to work. Women are more educated than men on average. In some cities, they even out-earn men. But here's the paradox. While women climb higher economically, they still want men above them. They want someone who earns more, who leads more, who provides more. This leaves many men in a no-win situation. Provide as if it's 1950, but receive none of the loyalty or respect that role once guaranteed. 6. The psychological awakening of men. This is deeper than economics. This is about men waking up. For generations, men were told, get married, settle down, be a good husband. But what have they seen? Their fathers divorced, their friends broken, their role models stripped in courtrooms. Now, men are beginning to see marriage not as a path to fulfillment, but as a potential trap. Communities online, whether Red Pill, MGTOW, or men's groups, amplify these stories. Men share their scars, and others listen. It's not bitterness, it's caution. Men are saying, I've seen what happens, I won't walk blindly into it. 7. The spiritual element, freedom versus bondage. On a deeper level, men are waking up to something far more profound than money or law. They're realizing that true leadership begins with freedom. You cannot guide, protect, or create if your spirit is bound by fear, legal chains, or emotional manipulation. Think about it. Throughout history, every great man, warriors, inventors, leaders, prophets, only rose when they were untethered. Shackled men don't build empires, they maintain cages. And modern marriage, for many, has become exactly that cage. Not built from love, but from contracts, obligations, and threats. A man whose every move is measured by, what happens if she leaves me, is not free. He's not leading, he's negotiating his own survival. His masculine fire dims, his mission stalls. His potential dies quietly while he plays safe to avoid losing everything. But here's the shift. Men are starting to choose solitude over slavery. They're rediscovering that freedom itself is intoxicating. The silence of their own apartment, the control of their own schedule, the ability to pour every ounce of energy into their vision that feels more alive than giving their soul to a system that doesn't honor them. And paradoxically, when a man reaches this point, when he is no longer desperate for approval, when he is content even in solitude, he becomes magnetic again. Because women, at their deepest core, are drawn to men who cannot be controlled, to men who would rather stand alone in truth than kneel in a lie. 8. The way forward. So what does this mean for the future? Is marriage dead? Not necessarily, but here's the reality. 1. Must build themselves first. Don't seek a woman to complete you. Become whole, financially stable, mentally strong, spiritually grounded. Then, and only then, consider partnership. 2. Choose with ruthless discernment. Not every woman deserves your commitment. Look for loyalty, respect, and shared values, not beauty alone. 3. Define commitment. Marriage is one model, but long-term partnership, spiritual union, or even choosing solitude are also valid. Men must define what success looks like for them. 4. Takeless change. If society wants men to return to marriage, laws must change. Shared custody by default. Fair treatment in divorce. Accountability on both sides. Until then, men will continue to walk away. Donut, here's the truth. Men aren't rejecting love. They're rejecting a system that no longer serves them. The question isn't, why aren't men marrying anymore? The real question is, why should they?